The fuck?
Sync will attempt to call 911. If you wish to cancel the call, please hold the phone button. A 911 assist call is being placed. Sync will speak first to the 911 operator before opening the line. Please wait.
You have reached 911 emergency. Please stay on the line and your call.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the importance of dash cams and features 2 videos from the channels of Tigger Maddie and Sean Chabajan. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we get into the episode, many viewers have asked for recommendations for dash cams. I personally use the Blackview DR900S 2-channel IR model, along with the 4K Ultra HD front-facing camera, which features a full resolution of over 8 million pixels. The 2-channel package also includes a wide-angle infrared interior camera, which can maintain excellent recording quality in extremely low light conditions. This package includes built-in GPS that monitors both speed and location, and also features a built-in speaker, impact sensor, and motion detector. The DR900S allows you to download recordings straight to your phone via the onboard dual-band Wi-Fi and offers a cloud service which can be accessed from anywhere in the world at any time. To power the DR900S, I use the Blackview PowerMagic Easy Kit, which connects directly to your car's OBD port and offers intelligent parking monitoring and battery discharge prevention. I highly recommend Blackview's products and use them myself every day. Now let's dive right in and audit the interactions. This first video comes to us from Tigger Maddie's channel and shows Miss Maddie test driving a vehicle from her husband's car lot, where she is stopped by a Montgomery County Sheriff's deputy in Montgomery County, Texas. Miss Maddie's first mistake is instinctively removing her seatbelt. Without a dash cam to prove that she just removed it herself, this action essentially hands an officer reasonable suspicion for the stop on a silver platter. Without evidence, whether or not Miss Maddie was wearing a seatbelt is debatable and boils down to her word against the officers in court. After being pulled over, it is best to remain still, turn on your interior light, and place your hands on the steering wheel until instructed otherwise by the officer. Do not do anything that will aid the officer's suspicions or further justify the stop. Miss Maddie acknowledges her mistake to the officer.
I just took my seatbelt off as a habit. Yeah, I just took this off, just so you know. I wasn't driving without this habit. Huh?
That's the reason you're being stopped.
No, I just took it off.
Miss Maddie is attempting to be honest with the officer, but the officer takes advantage of her honesty and considers it an admission of guilt. As noted earlier in the video, the officer passed Miss Maddie going in the opposite direction and could not have had a better view of the seatbelt if that's what he was looking for. It is important to never give an officer more information than is absolutely necessary, and Miss Maddie's quick defense only served to arm the officer with reasonable suspicion. Without her dashcam, Miss Maddie Maddie would have no evidence to support her claim, but her nervous and defensive body language could have been used as evidence to justify the officer's suspicion.
I swear to God, it's habit. Yeah. I wasn't speeding.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. The reason you're being stopped today because you can have a seatbelt on.
No, I just took it off. I swear to God. I have a camera.
Yeah, so your
I have a
license, your
camera.
seatbelt,
I can
yeah.
play it for you. Because it's habit. When I stop the car and put it in park, I take it off. There you go.
Thank you. Is this your car?
Yeah.
What do you have to do?
Because my husband owns a dealership.
Okay. So, does that mean you can just put dealer tags on any vehicle that you own?
No, we're
Because
gonna
dealer
sell
tags
it.
are usually whenever
Yes.
for a dealer or if they're showing the vehicle, which
Yeah.
is neither of
It's
it's not neither case right now, correct?
Notice that once Miss Maddie pointed out her dash cam, that the officer decided to focus on a different aspect of the stop. According to the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles website, a dealer tag can in fact be used by the dealer's family or employees for personal use. This officer frankly doesn't know what he's talking about and is presenting his speculations about dealer tags as facts.
no, he's gonna sell it. I'm just test driving it.
Are you now? Okay, but you just said this is your car.
No, it's, of course, I'm driving it, so I have to have insurance on it and stuff.
Okay, you said this is your car. I asked you if this is your vehicle, and you said yes. But there shouldn't be a reason why you should have a dealer tag on there just because your husband.
Well,
owns the
right
dealership.
now I'm driving it, so it's not like. Do you want me to call my husband? You can talk to him.
I'll go off of what you told me. You told me that this is your vehicle. You still live on Country Place Road?
Yeah.
Alright, bring it back with you.
Uh-huh.
Here you go. Make sure you wear your seatbelt also.
I swear I was wearing.
Make
I have
sure you
a.
also start driving cars at this time.
Huh?
Dealer tag. Put a real tag on your vehicle, not dealer tag, okay?
Okay, but I swear I have. Okay.
The officer left the scene without issuing Miss Maddie any citations. This interaction is a testament to the power of a dash cam because without it, this officer could have initiated a lengthy court battle based purely on inaccurate information and misinterpretation of the law. The next video from Sean Chabajan's channel also centers around an officer's misinterpretation of the law and perfectly demonstrates the accountability a dash cam offers when officers are uncooperative and misinformed.
How you doing? Is it possible to roll down these back windows here?
They work.
What's that?
They work. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm the only one
roll
in
it
here.
up. It's still sprinkling. Copy.
What agency are you identified with?
Fresno Police Department, Officer Lamelli. The reason we're stopping you is you got yellow lights to the front. You can't modify the lighting equipment that the vehicle comes with. It's got to be, you can't alter it. You have your license and registration?
I do.
Okay. Did you buy it from the dealership like that?
I got it like that. Yeah.
From the dealership?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you headed to?
Home. The registration's
Still on
in
Woodward
here.
there?
Yep.
All right. Current insurance? Was that?
I've been cited for this before and was not guilty of anything when I went to court. Got the money back, got paperwork for it. I was
The
stopped
vehicle code actually
right
says
down
you
on-
can't alter the lighting of your car if it alters the performance of the vehicle. So I don't know if you can tell up front here. See all these cars driving with white lights? When you do yellow lights to the front, it actually alters the performance of the lights.
Is that what it is?
It does.
There's what I cited for. There's the refund check.
Okay, that's fine.
And this
I don't know
vehicle,
what,
this vehicle code right here says they can be white or yellow right here.
California Vehicle Code 25950 clearly states that emitted light from all lamps and reflectors visible from in front of a vehicle can be white or yellow. Mr. Trabajan has already been stopped multiple times for his headlights and proved in a municipal court that his headlights are legal and is more than well prepared for this interaction. Mr. Trabajan has the court documents and the exact statute on hand ready to show Officer Lamelli, but the officer's ego won't let him go that easy.
Yeah, it's not that section there. That just applies to lights. Your headlights are white. That's what the dealership, they install white lights to the front. Here you go.
This includes headlights here. It says the light emitted from all lamps and the reflected light from all reflectors visible from the front of a vehicle shall be white or yellow.
Yeah. However, you can alter the lights if it alters the performance that of the lighting equipment.
I didn't do that.
Well, if they're yellow, it alters it. Yellow light is not the same as white
You're
light.
saying I altered them. I didn't alter anything.
What's that?
You're saying I altered them.
When you buy it, you're required to maintain your vehicle up to California standards.
Which
So if you
I
bought
believe,
if you bought it from the dealership like that,
I believe I have been following the law here, according to the paperwork I have, and according to me going to the court.
let's see if I can give you the section here.
I was unable to locate any statute which prohibits the modification of headlights to affect their performance. There is no such statute in the California Vehicle Code, and it is very likely that Officer Lamelli is misinformed. Mr. Trabajan has made every effort to dispel the officer's concerns, and by refusing to acknowledge the court documents, this officer is effectively saying that the judge is wrong. A courtroom offers the judge a chance to review all relevant statutes, ordinances, and case law that applies to the case at hand. And if the statute that Officer Lamelli is looking for exists, then a judge certainly would have taken it into consideration before issuing the ruling that the lights were legal.
Give me 1 sec, all right?
All right.
My partner's gonna check your license, make sure it's all valid.
I just went through this like 2 weeks ago with LeBlue, right here, probably 200 yards from here.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's a different section that he cited you for.
He didn't
That
cite
doesn't-
me.
That section doesn't apply to altering the performance of the headlights.
LeBlue looked it up, he couldn't find anything, he let me go.
Well, good for him.
Officer Lamelli now believes that he has a greater understanding of the legalities surrounding this interaction than both a municipal judge and multiple fellow officers, including the head of his district and a watch commander. Officer Lamelli's pride and ego are clouding his ability to objectively perform his duties and uphold the language of the law instead of his personal interpretations of the law.
Give me just a second. I'll get that for you. But if you bought it like that, that's why I asked if you bought it like that from the dealership. You did. I said you should go back and tell them that you have to have white lights.
I've made a diligent effort to make sure that these lights were lawful.
Did the vehicle come with yellow lights from the manufacturer?
That I don't know. I bought it this way.
Yeah, probably not. Cars come with white lights to the front. You can have yellow ambers. That's what that other section refers to. Is you can't have blue lights, green lights as any other lighting to the front of your car. But the car has white lights to the front. If you change them to yellow, or if somebody changes them to yellow, you alter the visibility of the vehicle to the front. That means it alters the performance of the lighting to the front.
Okay, so fog lights can be yellow?
Fog lights, as long as they're the standard as far as your wattage, you're not over on your wattage or anything like that, that's fine. Same with the headlights. There's a maximum and a minimum of wattage. They have to be the same voltage. But the yellow light, as you can see staring out to the front of your car, it alters the visibility. Yellow, you can barely see the front of your car. So my partner says everything checks out good, so you're good. I'll give you a warning. Just you're saying you're trying to take care of it.
Actually, I'm not. I'd rather leave them that way. I really believe that they're lawful. I went to court on it. I checked with the Sergeant Chandler here at this district. I checked with the watch commander at CHP. and I really truly believe that they're lawful. If you've taken the time out to stop me for this, or you want to cite me for it, I'd like to get a citation for it so that I can make sure that it's documented properly.
Okay.
So if you can cite me for a vehicle code that's relevant to these headlights, I'd like that, because if I'm not going to be cited for it, this is a complete waste of time. It's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights to travel freely.
While it could be argued that this stop is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, Officer Lamelli genuinely believes that Mr. Chabajian is committing a violation and most likely would not be held accountable for his actions. In the 2014 case of Highen v. North Carolina, the Supreme Court held that officers who commit reasonable mistakes in regards to carrying out their duties cannot be held responsible for the greater implications of their misconceptions. The court went on to note that while the maxim, ignorance of the law is no excuse, correctly implies that the state cannot impose punishment based on a mistake of law, it does not mean that a reasonable mistake of law cannot justify an investigatory stop. This ruling grants officers a poorly outlined margin for error that can act as justification for improper traffic stops and indirectly encourages officer ignorance.
But it's not a violation because you committed a violation. That's why I stopped you.
If you tell me I committed a violation, I'd like to be cited for it, please. I've already been cited for it, and it was just deemed lawful.
Okay.
So please go ahead and cite me for it. I'll wait patiently for that.
Okay. Well, that's your option. That's your request. Okay?
Cop trying to get him.
I'd like the citation so I can go to court and do the same process again. Therefore, I prove that I'm being targeted and harassed by Fresno PD over the same issue several times. This is the seventh time I've been pulled over for this.
I've never stopped you. I have no idea who you are.
I said Fresno PD and not you.
Okay.
So I'd like a citation, that way I can handle it
Well,
properly.
you're saying that Fresno PD is targeting you. I am with Fresno PD. I cannot target you if I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about you.
Okay.
As Mr. Chabajian said, it is the Fresno Police Department that is acting negligently by stopping him multiple times without taking steps to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Officer Lamelli may not be individually responsible for a targeted stop, but the department has made no effort to inform its officers of the proper legalities surrounding this interaction, and Mr. Chabajian is being victimized as a result. It is unclear whether the officer's refusal to issue a citation is because of his ego or because a citation would serve as the foundation for a legal battle with the officer and the department as a whole. Fortunately for Mr. Chabajian, the dashcam footage of this interaction could be used as evidence of harassment in a lawsuit.
So
Can I please have the citation so I can be on my way?
you're free to go now.
I'd like a citation, otherwise this is
I'm giving you a verbal warning.
okay. I'd like an apology for the violation of my rights. From
Fuck this citation, roll out. Shit.
You're not being unlawful.
So am I free to
Giving you
go?
a warning.
Am I
correct
free to
your
go?
headlights. Yes, you are.
Thank
Go!
you. Have a good night.
Yeah, drive safely. Watch your speed too.
Mr. Chabajian leaves the scene without being issued a ticket, but with enough evidence to make a case for harassment and negligence in a courtroom thanks to his dashcam. Mr. Chabajian later noted that he would not be pursuing legal action against the department or Officer Lamelli. Dashcams offer an unparalleled level of transparency and security when it comes to police interactions. Many traffic infractions are based purely on an officer's observations and perception. Dashcams level the playing field for drivers and allow citizens to dispute the claims of officers and offer up just as much, if not more, evidence for both sides of the story. The days of conjuring up false traffic violations to justify pulling over innocent civilians are long gone, and a new level of transparency, accountability, and civilian safety is dawning in the wake of the prevalent use of dash cameras. The security and peace of mind offered by a dash cam can be equated to an alarm system on your home or vehicle, and investing in a dash cam now could potentially save you money and perhaps even your life in the future. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic you would like us to cover in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more police interaction content.
Damn. I thought I was just streaming on YouTube. Okay. That's weird. Just watch some more videos. Watch a couple
Welcome
more videos.
to Audit
and then
the
we're
Audit,
gonna,
where we sort out the who and what and the
do
right
some
and
trucking.
wrong of police interactions. Today's episode features a highly requested video and comes to us from the City of Boulder's official website. Be sure to check out the description below for links to the unedited version. Let's dive right in and audit the interaction. On March 1st, 2019, Naropa University student Zaid Atkinson was picking up trash outside of his dorm building as a part of his work-study program, where he was contacted by Officer John Smiley of the Boulder Police Department in Boulder, Colorado.
I couldn't help but notice you just sitting on the patio out there.
What's that?
I couldn't help but notice you sitting on the patio behind this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's signs for no trespassing, private property,
here.
that kind of thing. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were doing, if you lived here or you worked here.
Yeah,
It looks like you're working, doing
I
something,
live here
picking
and
stuff
I
up.
work here.
Okay, gotcha. What's the actual address then?
3333 Arapahoe.
Okay, what unit are you in?
I don't think I have to actually tell you that.
Well, I'm just checking to make sure that you have a right to be here, that's
Well,
all.
I just told you I lived here.
Okay.
I told you
God, man.
that I'm working as well.
Okay.
Shouldn't that be enough for you?
Well, I gotta verify it, just so I know
Come
that,
on,
that
man.
you do in
You
fact.
gotta verify shit, man.
What do you need from me?
If you have an ID with your address on it, that'd be great.
Believe me, man.
Well, we've had some stuff going on in this area. I'm just
I
doing
know.
my job, just making sure you belong here, and if you do, then great, and I'll be on my way.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have anything with your address on it?
Yo, look, man. Here,
Hey, hang on,
why
hang
don't you follow
Just
me
relax.
and I'll just leave the building, dude.
According to the police report, this is the point in the interaction where Officer Smiley officially detains Mr. Atkinson. Until this moment, the interaction between Officer Smiley and Mr. Atkinson was considered consensual. It is important to note that Officer Smiley never stated why he believed Mr. Atkinson may have been trespassing. Nowhere in his police report does Officer Smiley relay any information which would suggest that Mr. Atkinson did not belong on the property. The independent internal review of the interaction, conducted by Special Counsel Bob Troyer and two Bluestone Investigative and Risk Solutions representatives, concluded that Officer Smiley based his reasonable suspicion primarily on the facts that Mr. Atkinson had no ID with his address on it, and that Mr. Atkinson turned and looked toward the address on the front of the dormitory when he told Officer Smiley his address. The report went on to note that Mr. Atkinson did not read the address, but rather he gestured toward it demonstratively, and even if he did read it, that would not have constituted reasonable suspicion when the totality of circumstances are considered.
Hey, just chill out, man.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
I'm just asking you if you have something with your address on it, then that would help me.
No, I don't. How am I
Okay.
supposed to have something with my address
Well,
on it?
a lot of people have a driver's license.
They just carry something with their address on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think
So,
he
Mr.
lived there.
Atkinson, can I get your date of birth, please?
Why?
I just need to verify who you are, that you belong here, that you have a right to be here. Okay.
Are you kidding
And
me?
he just need to cooperate with the cops.
Can you
though.
have a seat, please?
No,
Mr.
Police
Atkinson.
officer.
no, I'm not. I'm not.
If he ain't doing nothing wrong, why don't he just cooperate?
Can you please have a seat?
No.
Put that down.
Oh,
Stop.
oh my God. This is
Mr.
why I hate,
Atkinson,
man, when they
right
don't
now you're
cooperate,
obstructing
man.
a police officer, which is a jailable offense. I'm asking you one more time to sit down.
The independent report goes on to note that Officer Smiley's additional error was his misunderstanding about what his reasonable suspicion allowed him to do. The officer continued to ask Mr. Atkinson for his date of birth at various times throughout the contact. Even if he had reasonable suspicion, Officer Smiley was not entitled to that information. Although Colorado is a stop and identify state, Colorado Revised Statute 16-3-103 only grants officers the authority to acquire a suspect's name, address, and an explanation of their actions, not their date of birth. arrest. According to the statute, suspects only have to produce an ID if it is readily available. The independent report went on to declare that Mr. Atkinson was not committing the crime of obstructing a police officer by refusing to surrender his date of birth, and that Officer Smiley's misunderstanding of reasonable suspicion and what it allowed him to do prolonged the incident and was the cause of Mr. Atkinson's anger and frustration.
Last chance, sir. What? Have a seat.
Chance. You about to tase your ass.
Right now I'm detaining you and investigating you for a trespass.
I live here, dumb.
Sit down. Sit down.
No.
$290. Have a seat, please.
You're gonna tase me outside of my residence? I hope that
Drop that. Put that down.
We tase your ass.
Put that down.
No, I'm working.
You need to listen to what I'm telling you to do right now.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything illegal.
290, we're on the east side of 2333 Folsom. Subject's failing to comply, not sitting down, and he has some kind of a blunt object in his hand.
Here, Officer Smiley refers to the trash grabber in Mr. Atkinson's hand as a blunt object to the responding officers en route. This is an important detail because Officer Smiley is the only officer on the scene, and the other officers on their way can only gauge the situation they are responding to based on the information relayed by Smiley. By describing the trash grabber as a blunt object, Officer Smiley is implying that Mr. Atkinson is weaponizing the grabber, given the ambiguous nature of the radio chatter and the context of his earlier calls for backup. The responding officers could easily assume that they are entering into a dangerous or violent situation, but Mr. Atkinson has shown no signs of aggression toward the officer, and the blunt object in Mr. Atkinson's hand is hardly a threat to anyone's safety.
I'm just going to follow until my cover gets here. Have a seat. Sit down. Sit down. Now.
Why?
Now. Do it now.
Why? Why?
I'm detaining you to investigate.
For
Investigate a
what?
trespass.
I live here.
You haven't confirmed that. Sit down.
I'm a student.
Sit down and I'll confirm it.
Anywhere.
Sit down now.
No.
Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting down.
Then you're probably going to get tased in a second.
Why?
Because you have a weapon. Put that down.
I have a weapon?
Put it down and comply with my orders.
That's not what you're doing, officer.
Do it.
Better think, because I could get lawyers, and you have a camera on you.
It's filming right now.
Idiot.
Have a seat, please.
Why would you think that you could tase me? I'm freaking picking up trash on my property.
I need to confirm it.
Which is where I live.
There's a sign.
I'm not doing anything illegal, and you're not gonna fucking tase me, officer. So
Sit
how do
down.
you think about that?
Sit down.
How do you feel about that, sir?
Sit
How
down
do you feel about
now.
that, sir? And get your freaking lieutenant here. All
They're
right?
on the way.
Yeah, good.
Chocolate Thunder.
Sit down
What's
now.
up? What up, man?
I'm giving you another order to sit down.
I'm not doing anything wrong. You're filming and you know it. All right? And you're filming. So you know
What's going on? Just watching a couple of videos before I start trucking.
2330.
Play some American Truck Simulator.
Still failing to comply.
Not
Sit down, sir.
No, I'm not sitting anywhere. You're not in control here. This is my property. I live here, not you.
Sit
Not
down
you.
so I can
live here.
continue
I
my
feel
investigation.
unsafe Because you just
Sit down.
threatened to tase me.
Sit down.
I feel unsafe. No, point the camera here.
You have a dangerous object in your hand and you're failing to put it down.
I'm picking up trash.
Put it down.
gonna
You're being
shoot me.
detained.
Your hand is on your weapon, and you're gonna shoot me?
Oh, here they come.
That's what you're gonna
We
do,
got backup.
290, we're still
You're gonna
behind
shoot a resident on his
2333 Folsom.
property
The
for
subject
picking up
is failing to
trash.
comply.
That's what you're gonna do, officer?
Sit down, sir.
Why don't you use your brain?
I asked you several times.
Use your intelligence. Are you gonna kill me?
Several times I've asked you.
Quick smoke break.
Yes, it is.
Better than YouTube videos.
I
That's what's up,
threatened
man.
because you're not
That's
putting
a
that
gun.
down. Yes, it is.
I'm picking up trash.
Put it down. I
I'm
told you
picking
many
He
up
say
times
he's
to put it
bald.
down.
And you're holding a gun.
Put it down.
And you're holding a gun.
Sir, put it down.
And you're holding a gun. How do you feel?
Put it down,
How do you
sir.
feel, officer?
Damn,
How do you
man.
feel?
He going to jail.
You're
Put it
holding a
down.
gun. How do you feel?
Sit down on the ground like
How
I've
do
told
feel?
you many times
Or
before.
you're gonna shoot me? Or you're gonna shoot me, officer?
If you use that weapon against me,
That's good,
then
bro.
yes, that is a
I'm 20 feet
consideration.
from you, I'm minding my
All you have
And
to
then
do is
the YouTube
comply right
videos.
now.
Officer, you're gonna shoot me.
Just have a seat, man.
Shoot me? Are you kidding me?
All I want to do is figure this out with you.
Camera on this guy.
Sit down. Sit down.
Yo, somebody, hey.
Right.
Somebody in 2333, get a camera on this officer. He has a gun in his hand, and he's gonna shoot me. You got a camera? Exactly. That's my boy, Zinio, right there. This
Hey,
is
Fern,
my
we're
residence.
just to the east of
You're on my
Backcountry Pizza.
property with a gun in your hand.
Sit
threatening
down.
to shoot me because I'm picking up trash. I hope that
Sit
camera's
down.
on camera. Where's your lieutenant?
This
Just sit
dude
down.
right here,
Where's
man.
your lieutenant?
He making a scene.
Camera on you. You're gonna go to
Sir,
jail.
sit down.
Dude, you're not gonna get away with murder. You're not. Not today.
290, it's going
Not
to be a
today.
Arapaho.
You're not gonna get away
Thanks,
with
man.
murder.
Appreciate it.
Sit down.
I'm not
Yeah,
sitting down.
man.
Look, I don't want this to go any further, but you need to
You're
comply
gonna
with my
shoot me?
orders.
Just
I
got a
don't
little
have
bit
a
at a
weapon.
time, you know.
That's a weapon.
This is a bucket.
No, that's a weapon.
I couldn't get, you know, I couldn't afford it, you know, purchase
Put it
everything
down,
all
I'm
at
telling
one
you, I'm
time.
threatened by
Not a
it.
weapon. You're not threatened. I'm threatened. You have a gun that kills people. How am I supposed to kill someone?
Shit's
Sit down,
expensive.
sir.
No, keep that.
Sit
that on
down.
camera. He's got a gun in his hand. I'm gonna
Sit
sue
down.
the shit out of you, dude. I go to university here.
Sit
I'm gonna
down.
sue you.
You're
Ready to
refusing to
go.
comply with my
I'm
orders.
not sitting down. I'm not sitting down, and you can't make me. Officer, he's got a gun.
Sit
He's got
down.
a gun. He's got a gun.
Have a seat.
He's got a gun. He's
Just
got
sit the
a
fuck
gun.
down, bro.
The first
hell?
responding officer arrives on the scene and immediately draws his taser. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, a total of 9 officers arrive. They did not all arrive at the same time, and not all stayed until the incident's conclusion. But for most of the 13-minute period from the first cover officer's arrival until the scene was cleared, there were 8 officers, including Officer Smiley, on the scene and visible.
Yeah, it turned into a lot of it, man. And then my wife started getting like, you know, talking shit to me like like I'm excessive with this shit, you know. But yeah, turned into a lot of it. Yep. Electric bill ain't too high though. Still the same, but you know. I thought it was gonna bring the electric bill up like fucking $200, but still low. Yep. Let me see, turn this up a little bit so y'all can hear me.
To Mr. Atkinson, surrounding him on 3 sides. The independent report notes that one reason so many officers responded was because Officer Smiley told dispatch that, quote, the citizen was still not complying and had a blunt object in his hand.
What do you mean? This is my property.
290, we're still giving him verbal commands, trying to get him to comply. Sit down and drop that object.
I don't have to do
Sit
anything.
down and drop it.
I'm on duty doing my work and my job, and this officer comes over here.
Drop the object.
Yeah, you got that right.
Are you serious? Just relax. Video. Look at that. No, I'm not doing anything.
Have a seat. Drop it.
Damn,
Drop
we
it.
got more backup.
Drop it.
Why do you all four of them look, dude? All four.
The police are telling you to do something. Do it.
You have a gun in your
He's
Yes,
hand.
I
surrounded
do, 'cause
now,
you're not
boy.
listening.
You have a gun
You have
in
a
your hand.
weapon.
I don't have a
Drop
weapon.
the weapon. Drop it.
I don't have a weapon.
Drop it now.
What are you doing? No, what do you mean? Focus
Drop
on
it
you. There's
now.
6 of you.
Just drop it.
Really? This is my property.
We're not going anywhere. You need to drop it. I haven't confirmed that yet. I told you I'm investigating a trespass. You didn't give me your address.
2333. I live in room 304.
That's the first time.
All
Have a
of
seat.
you are threatening me on my property. I live here.
Hey, listen.
I'm a resident
The first thing you
of
need
this
to drop
property.
that
I'm
item.
picking up garbage from my door. I go to school here.
Drop it. Just
I go
drop
to
it and
school
sit.
Here. Don't tell me what to do. You guys don't have a god right to be doing this to me.
Sit down.
I'm a
Drop
citizen
it.
of this country.
Sit
I
down.
pay my
I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen.
And all of you have weapons drawn, and I
Sit
feel
down.
threatened.
Sit down and drop that
No!
object.
I will not sit down. I refuse to sit down until you guys put your weapons away.
This guy's insane,
Put your
man.
weapons away. Right there. Can we talk? Put your gun away.
Have a seat.
Put your gun away.
Have a seat.
Put your gun away, and I will
I'm not
talk
putting
to
my
you.
gun away.
Then I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
Back up
you
and have a
came onto
seat.
my property with your weapons drawn, threatening me
Have a seat,
at the
sir.
place that I sleep.
Back up.
How do you feel about that?
Back up.
How do you feel about
Back
that?
up and sit down, please.
Tell me what to do. What, you're gonna shoot me? No, no one's gonna shoot. Or you're gonna tase me and arrest me and beat the shit out of me like every other. No, don't tell me what to do. Get off my property. Get off my property.
All right,
Get off
I
my
got you, bro.
property.
Oh, you back already, man.
Why should I have to? Then we can have an adult conversation now. You want to have an adult conversation after your deputy pulled his gun on me. I do want to talk to you. Yes. Really? That's correct. You got it all on camera. Yep, I do want to talk to you. So how do you feel about that, sir? Why don't you tell me your name and then we'll have a conversation.
Just talk to my partner.
I really don't think that that is okay with me. I don't feel like having how many strangers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 officers of the law with guns drawn. With guns drawn.
Of all of the officers present at any point during this interaction, Officer Smiley was the only one to keep his firearm unholstered. Officer Smiley was holding his handgun for 7 minutes of the 20-minute interaction. Among the other officers present, one had an orange less than lethal beanbag shotgun slung over his shoulder for approximately 12 minutes. One had his handgun unholstered for less than 1 minute, and one had his taser unholstered for approximately 2 minutes. No other weapons of any type were unholstered. No officer pointed any
I'll
weapon
be right
of
back.
any
Let me use the
type at
bathroom.
Mr. Atkinson at any time during the interaction. Mr. Atkinson and a Naropa University student filming the standoff on his cell phone from inside the dormitory both stated that multiple officers were pointing guns at Mr. Atkinson. According to the report, all of the video evidence, including that student's, demonstrate that this was false.
On my property, I'm picking up trash for my job. He will refuse to put his weapon away. He refuses to put his weapon away, which is the first thing I asked for. You want my name? Yep, I'm Officer Park. And you have weapons drawn. You guys look like you're ready to go. I got it. You're ready to go, right? You won't
Just talk to him.
I'm not. Why I gotta talk to him? Because you can't handle.
Well, you don't seem to want to talk to
Dude, you called the whole cavalry.
You're not
For what?
listening.
For what?
You're not listening.
Okay, we're just don't get any closer, okay? For what?
Here we can see a responding officer opening the building door to speak to two residents who confirmed that Mr. Atkinson lives at the building. The officer then begins to employ de-escalation techniques in an attempt to defuse the situation.
Weapons drawn. Put your
You need to put that down. I'm not putting my
Are you
gun
gonna
away.
shoot me? There's cameras everywhere, dude. Are you gonna shoot me?
My plan is not to shoot
You
you.
you said this is a weapon.
It can be used as a
You
weapon,
feel like
yes.
this is threatening? Yeah.
Can you put it away? Can you just drop it on the ground? I'll put my gun down.
You're on my
Get
property.
down on the ground now.
If you put that down, I'll put my gun away.
Why?
I told you why, because it can be used as a weapon. Right. There you go. That's all I need.
Put your gun away.
Yep, you got it. Okay, could you have a seat over here? Now we can talk.
I'm not sitting. You can sit. Hey, Zane. What? Okay.
Say you can sit.
Nice people here told me you're our resident. Oh, wow. So, Zane, what a surprise. That's what we were trying to find out. Okay. What a surprise. I gave him my ID. Okay. And then he started taking down my information, telling me this, that.
Oh, they took the trash grabber and the bucket away from
And he pulls his
on the sneak tip.
out on me. So, Zane, I'm listening to you, and I just appreciate it. So, Zane, if you were willing to sit down, this would bring everything down a little bit. And we could
Yeah, man.
I do not feel comfortable sitting down around a bunch of murderers.
Oh my God, look at this guy. The cops ain't murderers, man. Man, look at this guy right here, man.
Oh, you're just gonna ignore what I just said.
Come on, man. Every cop ain't bad, man.
Okay. So I think you can hear the fact that I'm just trying to be professional with you here. And get some communication going so where we can get this resolved. Because I now found out who you are. I found out that you're a resident here. I gave him my ID. He knew who I was. I walk up to the door and beat myself into the building. And he refused to let me walk to my house. How is that okay? How is that okay? I'm understanding you're upset. What do you mean you're understanding I'm upset? He came out with a shotgun. Of course I'm upset. He pulled out his gun and said that I'm a threat.
What are you covering the camera up for?
I'm a threat because I'm picking up garbage. Take a step back or two from here so that I can feel. Why don't you get off my property? Okay. Why don't you get off my property? What I'm trying to resolve. Why don't you get off my property and stop telling me what to do at my house? How about that? If you were willing to sit down, we could talk about it. I'm not sitting down. Okay. Why don't you go home, officer? Right. And why don't you guys go find some real criminals instead of wasting my goddamn time? How about that? I fucking live here. You think this is a joke? I fucking live here. You were ready to shoot me down. And you didn't know a goddamn thing. You're wasting all our fucking resources.
I didn't even point my gun at you,
wasting
sir.
all our resources. There's people out there actually committing crimes.
Like, can I
How do
tell
you
you
feel?
something? Can I tell you something?
Feel? You're ready to jump out of your skin because you know you made a dumb mistake today.
Can I tell you something?
No. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I want you to get
Why
off
don't
my
you
property.
talk to my partner?
I don't want to talk to any of
Right
you
now, I need you to
boys.
sit down
I
so
want
we
you
can
guys
figure
to
it
get off
out.
my property and stop wasting my time.
That's not going to happen until I confirm who you are and what you're doing.
You already know who I am. He just confirmed who I am.
I don't have your date of
want
birth,
my
which
ID
is what
back.
I asked for.
I want my ID back, please.
And when we've finished, then you can have it back.
You can go.
The 2003 11th Circuit Court case of Florida v. Diaz held that detention must be limited to satisfying the purpose for the initial intervention. The Diaz case involved an officer stopping a motor vehicle because he was unable to determine whether the tag was valid from his patrol car. Upon approaching the vehicle, the officer was able to confirm the validity of the tags in question before making contact with the driver, but the officer obtained information from the driver anyway, which ultimately led to the charge of felony driving with a suspended license. The court ultimately dismissed the charge against the driver and ruled that once the officer's initial suspicion had been satisfied by confirming the validity of the tag, the officer no longer had any reasonable grounds or legal basis for continuing the detention. The logic of the Diaz case can be applied to this interaction. Officer Smiley now knows that Mr. Atkinson is a resident of the building and is not trespassing. Officer Smiley's initial suspicion has been satisfied, and he no longer has any reasonable grounds or legal basis for continuing the detention.
Can you have a seat so we can talk a little more?
And I don't think that I have to sit. I'm not sitting. This isn't like a game.
Right now you're acting very.
We're gonna negotiate what we do here because I have my rights, and you guys came onto my property, right, with suspicion of bullshit accusations, right? I don't know what the fuck you guys are even here for. You haven't even told me what your purpose is.
You didn't give me a chance.
You haven't told me what your purpose is, sir.
I'd be happy to if you could just have a seat.
I don't want to know anymore.
Okay.
What I want right now is I want my identification. I'm not sitting down.
Well,
Man, if he should have just listened to the cops, man. The cops would be gone by now. Shit.
All day.
All right. And you can waste our resources when there's people out there committing crimes, right?
Or I can get your
right? Criminals, right?
I can get your name, your date of birth.
You have all my
Find
stuff.
out. I don't have your date of birth. Yeah,
Why do you need my information?
I explained it to you.
Why are you coming onto my property asking me for my information? This is where I live. I don't need to give you shit. I didn't do shit. I fucking live here.
Do we just want to stand here?
I live here. Go get everybody. Call everybody.
That's not how it works.
Call everybody. Then we'll have a standoff, dude. Are you kidding me? This is stupid. I live here.
Hang
you
out
came on
and
my
just talk
property,
to my partner.
and you took my identification, dude. I live here, not you. You need to tell me who the you are.
So I saw him sitting here.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to tell me who the you are. What's your name?
Property sign. Thought maybe he wasn't really doing anything. He's kind of milling about, and then come back down, sit, milling about, come back down and sit. And then when I came to the alley, he stood up and I saw that he had that metal thing. And it looked like he was kind of banging it like against the. So I wasn't sure if he's like trying to damage something or. And then I addressed him, and then he.
He's mad that the dude isn't trespassing. Yeah, the cop is mad. He's mad.
So I contacted him and just asked him, hey, can I let me chat with you? I'm just checking to make sure that you have a right to be here. And then he initially talks to me. He I ask him why he's here, and he says he lives here and works here. And I ask him for the address, and he turns and reads it off of the building.
Okay.
And he won't tell me his apartment number. He gives me like some kind of school ID, but it doesn't have a date of birth. So I ask him for his date of birth.
Do you get it?
No. At that point, he refuses, and he starts walking away. Picks up that metal object and the bucket and walks away from me. I just follow him at a distance until cover gets here.
Okay. So we confirmed that he lives here, right?
No.
Well, he just did.
Okay.
Parker just did. He confirmed that he lives here.
According to him, he lives here. He just provided a unit number. Finally, I don't have a date of birth. I don't know who he is.
Okay. All right. So let's. You got his information in terms of his name and all that.
I just have his name.
Okay. Then give him his ID out of here. Yeah, because we already confirmed there, and this gentleman just said, yeah, he works here and lives here. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he just.
After being ordered to return Mr. Atkinson's ID and vacate the premises, Officer Smiley turns off his body camera's audio to confer with his superior. The sergeant understands that no crime has been committed and the proper course of action to restore peace is to simply leave the scene. Eventually, Officer Smiley returns Mr. Atkinson's ID and the officers leave without making an arrest or acquiring any more information from Mr. Atkinson. Following this interaction, Officer Smiley resigned from his position at the Boulder Police Department under an agreement that allows him to collect $69,000 in salary. Mr. Atkinson has filed a lawsuit against the city of Boulder that is still ongoing. Overall, Officer Smiley gets an F for detaining Mr. Atkinson without reasonable suspicion, abusing the power of reasonable suspicion, and escalating an interaction that could have been easily resolved with any number of alternative actions. Officer Smiley approached Mr. Atkinson with absolutely no evidence to support his claim that Mr. Atkinson did not belong there and essentially trampled over the Fourth Amendment to compile a pathetic excuse for reasonable suspicion. The only person who even trespassed during this interaction was Officer Smiley. His determination to acquire Mr. Atkinson's information well after he became aware that Mr. Atkinson was not trespassing is a testament to his terrible police work. If Officer Smiley worked this hard to neglect common sense and prosecute such a petty offense, then there is no telling how many innocent civilians were unjustly detained or arrested before he was finally forced to resign. Mr. Atkinson gets a C+ because although he did stand his ground and did not surrender to the intimidation of the police, he also escalated the situation by becoming irate and allowing his emotions to dictate his candor. It is extremely difficult to remain calm while being subjected to abuse from the police, and Mr. Atkinson's reaction to this interaction is somewhat justified. But there were several moments during this interaction where a calm and collected attitude could have been beneficial. Rather than becoming angry at Officer Smiley for overstepping his bounds, using logic and questioning the accuracy of the officer's actions may have proved more effective. Mr. Atkinson's case is an isolated incident where allowing anger to be the driving force of an interaction worked out in favor of the victim. But this is an extremely rare scenario, and it is unlikely that an interaction similar to this would play out favorably for most people. The responding officers of the Boulder Police Department get an A for critically assessing the situation, responsibly employing de-escalation techniques, and for resolving the situation without incident or harm. I commend the BPD for taking the initiative and working to resolve the situation instead of issuing more orders and forcing Mr. Atkinson to comply. The fact that the commanding officer assessed the situation and made the independent decision that Officer Smiley was wrong and ordered him to stand down and return Mr. Atkinson's ID is exemplary and extremely rare. Most law enforcement officers operate under a mob mentality and justify each other's actions regardless of the legality or moral connotation associated with the action. In this instance, the Boulder PD demonstrated how a well-trained and highly disciplined law enforcement organization is supposed to conduct itself. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic you would like us to cover in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more police interaction content.
Alright, enough of that. Yeah. Let's exit out of that. Be right back. Just give me 1 minute, chat. Be right back.